Hello YouTubers, Manny here from Manny's How To Workshop, and today I'm going to make a video on feeding my red wigglers, and they are housed right here in my verma hut, where I'm using that to make my worm composting. And basically what I have here is some food that I already made up in this what do you call it? This, I guess you can call it a bottle or a container. It's actually the leftover from the protein shake container. And what I did was I get some food scraps, like what's in this bag here, from my friends and family, and then I chop them up on this piece of 3/4 inch plywood here, and I mix it up with some coffee grounds, some shredded paper, the vegetable scraps, some tea bags, leftover tea leaves, and make the food, and then I refrigerate it. And you can see that I'm about halfway down in the bottle. I started feeding them about 3/4 of a cup, which was about 4 ounces, since I only had like a half a pound of worms to start off with, and they recommend you feed them in like half the weight of what you have. So now I'm bumping them up to a full cup, because as you can see from the first bedding that I made, the bedding used to be up to here, and it's sunk pretty good, so they're actually going through it pretty good, and they're starting to eat more. And this newspaper here was from the last feeding, which was in this corner here. You can see there's barely some scraps left over, just some leftover pieces that they haven't broken down yet. So I'm going to go ahead and move that over to a different corner, probably this corner here, since I haven't put anything there. I've tried to hit all 4 corners, and by judging it, you can see it's gotten pretty low here. Like I said, it used to be there, and it's actually down there, so it went down probably like 3/4 of an inch all the way around. So I'm probably going to start feeding them more and more. I have another one of these containers in the fridge from last week that I made, so since it's the oldest food first, I'm going to go ahead and feed them that first. So I went ahead and dumped the food on there. As you can see, I spread it out with my trusty wooden spoon, which I picked up at the dollar store. And this is actually pretty good for also lifting up the bedding to check on the worms, see how they're doing. You can see there's a little guy right there squirming about. And as far as the moisture level, being in the fridge, it keeps the food moist, so I really don't have to like spray them down with my spray bottle. And you can see that you always cover them. You make sure you cover them up after you feed them with like a sheet of wet newspaper, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. And that just helps to keep them down underneath it, and it keeps them feeding. They like the darkness. So, and since that's still damp, I don't need to spray it down, like I said. And just by keeping the lid on, any moisture that comes up, and lately we've been having some temperature changes here in Florida, and with cool nights, so a lot of that moisture is not dissipating. But there it is. Basically, just put the food in one corner, and then next Sunday I'll go ahead and move over to like the opposite corner, and then same thing the week after that. I'll put it in the other corners until they eat it all down and convert it over to worm castings. So basically that's it. Just like I said, you put the food in the corner, let them work it, come back and check on it, and what they'll do also, they'll eat through the newspaper as well. I haven't checked to see if I had any worm juice yet. I'm going to give it a little more time just to make sure. And they've actually been doing pretty good. Haven't had any escape yet, which is a good thing. That tells me that they like their new environment. And what I'll do probably next time is use my my gardening moisture, light, and pH meter, just to make sure that the bedding is good, that they're not too wet, or as far as dry, they're not dry, but just to make sure they're not too wet. And then what I'll probably do is end up adding some dry material there. Well, if you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do so, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.